A game that was even closer than 8.1 overs to go, because either team could have won it right up until the end. West Indies and Pakistan. This was an extraordinary match, one of those low-scoring kind of games. Pakistan 217 in the first innings, final word favourite Fawad Alam making 56. Jason Holder took 3 for 26. West Indies got 253, just past that. Craig Brathwaite got 97. Jason Holder 58, sort of doing it all for the West Indies. Pakistan make 203 with the newcomer, the teenage quick Jaden Seals, takes 5 for 55. And so the Windies need 167 to win. They're 16 for 3. They're stuffed. Jermaine Blackwood makes 55, but then he gets out, 111 for 6, 114 for 7 when Holder gets out. And then Seals puts on 17 for the last wicket with Kemar Roach, who makes 30 not. And they win it by 1 wicket. It was just an extraordinary game. But you were doing some commentary on that while this England match was going on at the same time.
Yeah, it's amazing. I can be in Sabina Park and then at Lord's and who knows where else. I've done a 100 game actually on the first day of the test. I've covered 3 different matches, I think, in 5 days. It was a sensational test match. It was really exciting, and it showed that this West Indies side has got a lot more to it than people think. I think this really is, if you're seeing England go on a downswing, seeing the West Indies on an upswing, Pakistan fans will complain about the way their batters got out. They shouldn't do, actually, because it was an awkward pitch. It was an up and down pitch. It seesawed so much that the only time watching that game that I thought I knew what the result was tea on the 4th day when Jason Holder was out, bowled to the last ball before tea, and that meant that the West Indies needed 54 with 3 wickets in hand and went, right, that's it, Pakistan. Now I know Pakistan have won this game. Which just goes to show what I know about cricket. It was a fantastic game. And look, a little bit like you were saying about how England needed to be a bit more, way more aggressive and on the front foot when they were hunting down that 270 odd. Jermaine Blackwood, I sort of knew it at the start of the innings, actually, that if Blackwood came off, then the West Indies could get there. Because 168 doesn't feel like a big target, but believe you me, the way Shaheen Shah Afridi and Hassan Ali were bowling, and they had Mohammed Abbas to dry up an end, meant that 168 was going to be an awkward target. And they needed someone to just inject a bit of life, because no one in that match actually was able to go at more than 50 runs per 100 balls with for any length of time. Blackwood came out and he just had a very simple method. If there was any width, he flung the bat at it with this huge backswing. And, the bat was almost like hitting his bottom on the way through, If it was short, he just climbed into it. If it was straight, he had this rather horrible defensive prod. And he got his 50-odd came off 70-odd balls.
Yep.
At the other end, Roston Chase was sort of being the Pujara. He was playing everything really, really late. And in that partnership, that got them up to 80-odd for 3. And I thought, this is electrifying stuff. Then, out of nowhere, Hassan Ali conjures wickets. Shaheen Shah Afridi taking the top off the order in the first 3 wickets to fall. Then Hassan Ali came in. Fahim Ashraf picked up a couple. Wickets were going down in clusters. But it got even more dramatic because there was nobody in the ground apart from the ground staff. And the ground staff were all vociferously willing on the West Indies. Like the old barrackers of the 1980s, giving the Oppo the lot. The ground staff, who were mostly late middle-aged men from what I could tell, it was quite strange, were all shouting. And Joshua De Silva came in after tea with Kemar Roach. And his approach was very different. He was going to be entirely solid. Kemar Roach did a Blackwood. He basically attacked any ball outside his off stump with incredible ferocity, and he blocked anything else that was straight, or he ducked it if it was short. And the clarity of mind was really impressive to see. It was in stark contrast, it's got to be said, to the lack of clarity of mind that England have shown in this last test. But as we counted down, we had this classic situation developing. Clouds were rolling in and then rolling away. The day was lengthening. And the catch by Rizwan to take the 9th wicket, I thought that sealed it. So at this point, dear listener, the West Indies needed 17 runs, 2 wickets in hand. The game, has it swung towards the West Indies? It sure feels like it. Then Warrican goes for a pull, gets a thick top edge. It flies down to the finest of fine legs. It is pursued by the minuscule Rizwan, who pelts after it, arms pumping, and dives full length to take what could have been one of the great Test match winning catches. He takes the catch. They're 9 down. Surely now Pakistan have got it. Jayden Seales walks out.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you have this debate so much in Australia, but in England we say, there's no red ball cricket because everyone's playing the 100. There's no preparation. How can Moeen Ali, Joss Buttler, Sam Curran be expected to face a good, tight bowling? Jayden Seales was playing his 4th first-class match ever. So talk about preparation. It's his 4th first-class match. He's 19 years old. Shaheen Shah Afridi was bowling at literally 94 miles per hour in duckers to the left-hander on a grabby, uneven pitch. And he just props forward and defends. Plump, defends. Plump. It was stunning. The composure of the man. Again, it's making me well up. While at the other end, Kim R. Roach, this old veteran, highest test score of 41, never been much caught with the bat. He's got his method, and he goes with his method, and we chip down, and now I'm thinking, please let it be a tie, because Pakistan have been so good in this match, and the West Indies have been so good in this match, that the tragedy of a loser, it wasn't to be. And I really do feel for Pakistan, but also I'm genuinely excited about what's happening in West Indian cricket. I think Brathwaite is a really sound captain, and this guy Jayden Seales, don't imagine that he's like Colin Croft. I mean, he's a similar height. He's a tall guy, broad shoulders, strong looking, but it's actually the intelligence of his bowling that was so impressive. Bowls from a good height, and he realised that this was a pitch where you hit the deck, you get the seam, you don't know which direction it'll go away or in, and he regularly did it. He gave very little away, bowled very few bad balls. He became the youngest West Indian ever, although I hate the word ever in this context, but he became the youngest West Indian to take a 5 in Test cricket. And you think about the great bowlers they've had. He beat Alf Valentine, who in 1950, those little pals of mine, Ramadan and Valentine, who spun the West Indies to victory in 1950. Well, Valentine held the record at 20 years and 30-odd days or something, and Jayden Seales beat it. He's 19 years and 300 and something days. And then when he was spoken to afterwards, he's an incredibly impressive young man. Ian Bishop on commentary kept saying, rather curiously, he kept saying, he's been very well educated. He went to a very good school, which, if you said that in England would be sort of very strange classist comment to make. But
what did they say about Alistair Cook? He's from the right type of family.
He's the right type of family for England, exactly. But actually, I knew what Bish meant. He was very thoughtful, and he played Test cricket like he'd been watching it and playing it for years, and he was only 19. It was a scintillating game of cricket. I got back home from BT Towers at about 12 o'clock to find Jeremy Coney and my wife dancing to the Bee Gees. So it was all in all just about the most perfect day for me.
And what happened after that we'll leave to the imagination of listeners.
Well, we moved on to a flight to the Concords Marathon. And,
it's business time. It's business. It's business.
Business time.
That's right, Daniel.
Time.
Oh, excellent work, Daniel. Come on in and make yourself comfortable. Take off your strides, stretch out on the settee, and just be at home.
Actually, he did virtually say exactly those words. Get into your comfies, settle down. We've got a lovely evening of music and wine.